I'm not overweight or anything. I just try and work out consistently to keep in shape somewhat. When I found a used treadmill on the side of the road, I thought, hey, this is a good avenue to use to work out. I pulled into the driveway of the house, got out, and rang the doorbell. I waited for a while, then an old man answered the door. What do you need? He answered, obviously annoyed. Is your treadmill for sale? I asked him, trying to sound polite as possible. Yep, it's free. You want it? He replied. I thought at first it could have been something wrong with it, because it wasn't... Someone wouldn't just give away a perfectly good treadmill. I would learn later that I was right, but not for the reason I thought. The old man was surprisingly strong for his age. He helped me load the treadmill into my truck. Thanks for taking this old thing. I've been trying forever to get rid of it, he said. I thanked him for the treadmill and pulled out and left. When I got back home, I unloaded the hunk of metal into my basement. It was surprisingly lighter than before. When I tried to plug it in, I realized that the plug was slightly different than my outlet. At first, I thought, damn it, now I gotta go buy a new plug converter. But then I saw something else. One of the spokes in the plug was able to rotate. I turned it to the orientation that I thought would work with my plug and plugged it in. It powered to life just like it was brand new. I jumped on and messed around with it for a while, seeing how fast I could go, etc. Then I discovered the courses. It was a sequence of inclines that would simulate a course. I tried the most courses and found one with a strange name. It was labeled BCKRMS. There was a sticker from a label maker that said, not safe for dad. I just thought it was one of those that the old man's kid was trying to keep him from doing because it was too rigorous. I was curious to try it out. I know now that I should have heeded the label's warning. I navigated to the course and selected it. It started out slow on a slight incline. Then suddenly, the incline shot up to the highest it could go. That was weird, I thought. I shrugged it off and kept running. It was slow, but the speed increased faster and faster until I couldn't keep up with it anymore. I put my feet on the sides of the belt and pushed the stop button. Then the LED prompt said something strange. Welcome. Then I noticed that the surroundings had changed. It had yellow walls with fluorescent lights all around. The carpet was a gross yellow that you would only see from houses built in the 70s. And the smell. The smell was of urine and rot. It was so bad that I had to pull my shirt over my face. I stepped off and onto the carpet. I decided to explore this new interesting place I had seemingly discovered. I wandered around until there was not one thing from the scenery had changed. It had the same boring walls, carpet, and fluorescent lights. I seemed to walk for ages and ages until I came across a treadmill once again. I had been going in circles somehow even though I had never turned. Then I heard it. Footsteps. They were very distant at first, and they got closer and closer until something appeared in the hallway. It had long, bony fingers and long, bony limbs that stretched out onto the floor. Its body looked malnourished and its joints cracked as it turned towards me. It had these disgusting, beady bug eyes that bore into my very soul. I thought I was going to die at that very moment. Except then, I blacked out. I woke up to a woman staring at me. Hey, she said. What happened? I efforted to put together words. You almost got taken by one of those things, but I managed to fend it off, she said like it was nothing. Where the hell am I? I yelled. Relax, you're safe here, she said calmly. Where is here? I asked again. Welcome to the Backrooms. This is the dimension between dimensions. You have no clipped out of reality from your treadmill, and now you are here. This is the only area that has some sort of livable conditions. I noticed I was in some sort of bedroom. There was a closet and a table and chair and a fridge. I don't know how she managed to find that, but there was a lot of snacks and food too. There was a rudimentary barrier that was up against the gap to the rest of the area. How long have you been here? I asked the mysterious woman. Longer than I can remember, she just stated. I never caught your name, I asked her. Sadie, she told me. Nice to meet you, Sadie. My name's Tom, I replied. From then on, we did our best to survive in the backrooms, fending off the monsters and trying to survive on rotten or minimal food. There were so many nights I was unable to sleep because I kept hearing the cracking of those things wandering around. The buzz of the lights didn't help either. I remember one night I saw Sadie leaving a closet door in the room that I had never noticed before. She locked it and put the key in a drawer in a side table that I had also never noticed before. I waited until she left and got the key. I hid it under my bed and waited for a while and to investigate the new room. After a couple hours, I got up and tiptoed to the door and unlocked it. I opened it, and what I saw was so awful that it will stick with me for the rest of my life. There was a body laying limp up against the cavern. It went so deep I could not see where it ended. The smell was worse than before. I thought I was going to vomit, but then I noticed it. The body had absolutely no skin. It had been removed completely. I slammed the door and locked it again and put the key back. I decided I was going to run back to my treadmill. It was my only way back. Then I heard it. It was the cracking from before. You can't leave now, Tom. We're just getting to know each other, Sadie said from behind me. Except it wasn't Sadie. I turned around and saw the long, skinny creature from before, its bug-like eyes boring into me. You can never leave me, Tom, it said in Sadie's voice. I bolted out of the room and ran straight ahead. I could hear the constant cracking and screeching of the creature close behind me. Before I noticed a turn I hadn't seen before. Something inside me told me to take it. I zoomed around the corner as adrenaline kicked in and sent me flying down the hall. The creature was somehow catching up close behind me to the point I realized it was breathing down my neck. Then I saw it. The treadmill. My only way home. I decided to see if I could deter the creature to buy myself some time. I moved towards a wall. Sure enough, it smashed into it, dazing the creature for a bit. I bolted harder and faster to the treadmill. Then I grabbed the plug and turned it back into its regular spot. I found a convenient outlet and plugged it in. The last thing I remember is pounding on the buttons to select the course. It sped up a lot quicker than before, and I saw the creature lumbering towards me and screeching even louder. Before I knew what happened, I was back in my basement. I kissed the treadmill and kissed my floor. I was so happy to be back, grounded in the reality that I knew. I decided to return the treadmill to the old man because I did not want something like that near me anymore. I loaded it into my truck and zoomed back over to the house. It was the afternoon, so I didn't expect anything different than before. I jumped out of my truck and walked up to the door and rang the doorbell. No answer. I rang again. Nothing. I pounded on the door. Still nothing. Hey, what are you doing, man? A voice asked. I turned around and saw a homeless man behind me. Is there an old man who lives here? I asked. No one's lived there for 4 years, man, he told me. I looked back at the house in astonishment, and I realized that it was dilapidated and run down. I got in my truck and drove out to the landfill. I decided, though I've seen so many movies about cursed objects and how destroying them never works, but I would attempt to get rid of the treadmill. I dropped it off and drove back home. I got a beer out of my fridge and turned on the TV. I still couldn't believe what had happened to this old man or his house. I decided to do a quick Google search on the house, and I discovered that the man had gone missing about a year ago. And then they found him. He was in his basement without any skin. He was partially decomposed, so it was expected that he'd been dead for a while. They never figured out a cause of death, so it was ruled a suicide. How could someone be able to remove their own skin? It just doesn't make any sense. I decided to drown my thoughts in beer and fell asleep on the couch to the TV. I woke up to the sound of the treadmill. Impossible, I thought. I stumbled over to the basement door and listened. It powered down and I heard it once again. The sickening cracking. I immediately moved to my dresser door and got my drill and drilled the door shut. I also bolted the dresser to the door. I am writing this from a friend's house, and I am hoping that the creature does not escape from my basement. I am also hoping that some government agency sees this and can contact me to guide them to contain or eliminate this creature. I can't say there's a lesson in this, but pay for your things. It's a lot easier getting it from a trusted source. I can hear the awful cracking and screeches when I try to sleep at night. I am pretty sure I keep seeing the creature out of the corner of my eye. It's only a matter of time until it gets to me, just like it got to the old man. I will update if anything new happens.